Part 81. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 801. Chapter 801, Entering the Dragon's Den. He-Man, who was covering his wound in panic, had red and swollen eyes. "Don't be afraid, it will be fine, it will be fine. Teacher, where are you, where are you?" Zhang Xiaoxiao went up and opened him up. "The method is wrong. If you can't stop the bleeding like this, quickly tie it up for me." A sharp shout suddenly woke up He-Man, who was still in a daze. He-Man burst into tears. "Teacher! I'm here. The building manager is waiting for you to help. Teacher, please save the building manager and the others." "Where are they?" Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't know what happened here during his absence. She regretted that she had been away for too long. For people here, a week is almost as long as several months. Something bad must have happened. The building manager and director Xiao took 15 teams to the exit of the battlefield. As soon as they went out, they were attacked by the Black Horned Dragon. They killed like crazy and now suffered heavy casualties. In the past few months, the Black Horned Dragon has been going crazy. Same, stay at the entrance to our battlefield. Every team is the target of their attack. Everyone has no real food and no supplies. Now the entire base is going crazy. The building manager decided to kill those Black Horned Dragons. But I'm afraid 15 teams of death squads. He-Man didn't finish speaking. Zhang Xiaoxiao has already run away. Hello Ceratops. Those Black Horned Dragons staying at the entrance promised that they would bring them food, but now they seem to have forgotten about it. Won't the Black Horned Dragon take his anger out on all the base personnel because of his absence? Zhang Xiaoxiao almost rushed into the elevator. The queue in the elevator looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao. "You'd better get out. It's better for you, a woman, to die than to live. If you die, our men on the 900th floor will die first, and it won't be your turn. A woman goes to die. Wait until us men are dead and you women are gone." The big man stretched out his hand to push Zhang Xiaoxiao out of the elevator. Zhang Xiaoxiao blocked his hand. "I am Dr. Zhang, the only doctor. There are only benefits to me going up. The wounded need me." The big man paused. "It turns out you are that Dr. Zhang, but it's useless for you to go up now. The casualties outside are too heavy, and we can't even bring back the wounded. It's almost a one-sided massacre. Although the building commander has led the death squad up, but the fighting power is in front of those Black Horned Dragons. It probably won't last more than a few minutes. We are just relying on the large number of people, but it looks like more people will die. Even a real doctor can't save you." After all, the big man didn't say anything more to Zhang Xiaoxiao to exit, and the elevator came directly to the exit. The moment the elevator door opened, everyone in the elevator rushed out without hesitation with weapons in hand. No one is timid, no one hesitates. Zhang Xiaoxiao walked out. The roar of the Black Horned Dragon was heard in the distance. A Black Horned Dragon is hovering in the air, spraying black flames. This is the first time Zhang Xiaoxiao has seen the true power of the dragon. He breathed out flames, still black flames, forming lotus flowers on the ground. The black lotus swallows up all life that touches it. Almost everyone I met was wailing. Lu Fengming flew into the sky. The concept of flying alone could probably refresh Zhang Xiaoxiao's limits on the human body. The knife struck the Black Horned Dragon's abdomen, leaving a mark, which triggered the Black Horned Dragon to attack crazily. The aura brought by Lu Fengming's sword was almost beyond the limits of human beings. For the first time, Zhang Xiaoxiao knew the meaning of a warrior here. The dozen or so people at the bottom formed a line of formation. A dozen knives flew out and cut the tail of the Black Horned Dragon. The Black Horned Dragon swept over with its tail like it was crazy. The formation broke up, someone was injured, and more people formed the formation again. Lu Fengming takes off again. The light of the sword left half of He Jialong's claws behind. It was almost a head-to-head duel. The He Jialong flew higher and spit out countless lotus flowers quickly. Zhang Xiaoxiao rushed over, and a ball of flame was about to fall on Lu Fengming. As long as he falls on it, Lu Fengming will be dead. The physical body can never resist the engulfment of black flames. This is not the black-horned dragon I know. It is a violent black-horned dragon, and it is also a strange black-horned dragon. The moment Zhang Xiaoxiao rushed forward, the ring on her finger made a huge impact. A force burst out into sparks through her fingers, colliding with the black lotus. The only idea everyone has is that Dr. Zhang is dead. It's over. Their only doctor died. There is no difference between death and immortality. Everyone must die now. The black lotus suddenly magnified 10 times or 100 times, to an extreme level. Zhang Xiaoxiao's power formed a protective shield to protect the people underneath. The black lotus hit the black-horned dragon, causing a huge explosion. Zhang Xiaoxiao was caught by the sharp claws of the black-horned dragon, and then the black-horned dragon spread its wings and flew away. In everyone's eyes, the sky is flying higher and farther. Everyone on earth weeps. A doctor caused the Melanoceratops' first setback by using himself as bait. Saved them all. Zhang Xiaoxiao was in severe pain, and his body was penetrated by the black-horned dragon's claws, like a steak on a fork, leaving him to be slaughtered. I don't know how long it took. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt like he was being thrown down. Like falling on a pile of soft grass. Zhang Xiaoxiao quickly ate a peach. The blood from the wound stopped, and I was able to raise my head and look over. Then Zhang Xiaoxiao became stupid. More than a dozen black-horned dragons were looking at her curiously. 10 years. Right? Baby black-horned dragon, but even the baby is still as tall as a 3-story building. Dead. This is the food that black-horned dragon caught for its children. At this moment, a black-horned dragon rushed over. Zhang Xiaoxiao took a look at where he was. There was a nest made of weeds on a high cliff. Huge dragon's nest. At the bottom of the cliff is a surging waterfall. Zhang Xiaoxiao closed his eyes and jumped down. Rather than being eaten by the black-horned dragon, it would be better to jump down. Zhang Xiaoxiao fell into the cold lake water and sank. At this time, the black-horned dragon let out a shrill scream. Zhang Xiaoxiao fell into the water. He couldn't see everything clearly in the dark water. Zhang Xiaoxiao paddled his hands and feet hard to try to float himself up. Then what you can see is a large piece of red crystal. Yes, one red crystal stone after another, like a flower. Emits a charming light. Zhang Xiaoxiao slowly rode over. The moment she touched the crystal, it turned into a warm current and entered her body. Then Zhang Xiaoxiao realized that she was not that cold. It seems as if the whole person has come to life. A warm current is flowing desperately in the body, and all the veins in the limbs are jumping for joy. No 9, what is this? Zhang Xiaoxiao still needs to be more cautious. Sister, this is dragon spar. It can only be produced in the hatching place of the black-horned dragon. It will take 1,000 years to produce. It is said that it will take thousands of years to grow to such a big size. Dragon spar can improve the bodies of warriors in this world. The effect of strength can also strengthen physical fitness. After absorbing dragon crystal, the overall strength of the warrior can be improved. Congratulations. Sister, you are a qualified warrior. Not everyone can absorb these dragon crystals, but sister, you are different. You have a peach. After your peach purifies the dragon crystal, the absorption level increases by 90%. Number 9 is very responsible and short-tongued. At Jiangjia number 9, I often ate the meals cooked by Fan Qiuying. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 802. Chapter 802 Big Self and Small Self. Zhang Xiaoxiao absorbed one flower after another. The flowers under the water gradually changed from the large red dragon crystals that were eye-catching at the beginning to dragon crystals that were only as big as a palm. Zhang Xiaoxiao could feel that the effect of absorbing each flower was not as good as the other. It seems that I have absorbed the greatest essence of dragon crystal. If you are unwilling, this is a good thing. It is said that it can strengthen the body of a warrior, temper the strength of a warrior, and even prevent him from being corroded by black flames. If you can't use it yourself, you can give it to Yuli Monkey and the others. This is not to say that the crystallization of thousands of years, that is, the rare treasure here in Long's Nest, will be gone in a few minutes if left outside. Zhang Xiaoxiao made up his mind and moved quickly. I don't know if it's because she absorbed the dragon crystal, or because she's used to being in the water, and feels a little at home like a fish in water. Take the flowers one by one into your own space. She didn't see a black dragon head appearing in the huge whirlpool on the water. The black horned dragon has bared teeth and fierce eyes. The bold humans actually dare to steal their own dragon crystals. This is dragon crystal formed by absorbing the dragon energy of their black horned dragons for thousands of years. It is the treasure of every dragon incarnation of their black horned dragon. I have been guarding this place for thousands of years, and now someone suddenly breaks in. The black horned dragon took a deep breath and dived into the water. At the same time, the moment Zhang Xiaoxiao left, 4 men and 1 woman appeared in the depths of the pool. What's going on? Aren't there a lot of dragon crystals here? Just 2 pieces now. A bearded man held up 2 pieces of dragon crystal in his hand, which were only about the size of his palm. Looking confused. The other 4 people all had solemn expressions. Captain, the information we got is that the dragon crystal is in this place. Now that they and we can find these 2 pieces, it proves that the location is not wrong, but the captain of the 5th team who sent the information back last time said that there is a large amount of dragon crystal here. But there is a black horned dragon guarding here. The dragon crystal is gone now. Blackhorn didn't show up either, which was weird. The 5 people looked around. This is the main refining part of the last enhanced medicine for senior warriors. Without dragon crystal, the captain would not be able to become a paladin. We must help him get over this hurdle. He is the only paladin of us humans. If the captain does this, if we fail to evolve once, we won't be able to reach the next level at level 500. No, let's look for it again. The 5 people nodded and began to disperse around. A black-horned dragon emerged silently, staring at the 5 people coldly. Damn humans, dare to steal our dragon crystal, wait to die. With a loud shout, the black-horned dragon rushed out. 5 people were knocked out of the water instantly. One by one, they fell wetly onto the grass around the pool. Chen Yu endured the severe pain and looked up to see a girl next to him, wearing a mask, looking at him in surprise. Hurry up, the black-horned dragon is out, run as far as you can. Taking a breath of cold air, 2 ribs in the chest should be broken. Chen Yu stood up and drew the sword from his back. This is the first time Zhang Xiaoxiao has seen such a domineering sword. Made of black material, the entire sword is almost longer than Chen Yu's body. It was like 1,000 pounds in her hand. The other 4 people also stood up, and the captain Chen Kuian with a beard wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Everyone, please note that this is not a low-level black-horned dragon, it is a black-horned dragon that has evolved, and is a black family dragon king that has evolved for 10 generations. You cannot just hit and run, you cannot stay here for a long time. Captain, if you don't run away, we will definitely not be able to defeat you. We didn't expect to encounter the black-horned dragon king this time. We originally thought we would lead the dragon king to the entrance and exit. Those people there can at least fight for us. Time, who knows? There are actually 2 black-horned dragon kings in this 900-floor shabby place. This is not life-threatening. The 5 of us together can't beat it. Stop talking nonsense, The Black Horned Dragon King has come out, either fight or wait to die. The bearded Chen Qian drew his sword. 5 swords form a battle formation, and each person is capable of both offense and defense. Chen Yu saw that the girl hadn't moved yet and thought she was frightened. Why don't you leave quickly and wait for death here? The Black-Horned Dragon King slowly emerged from the pool with a huge head. He stared at them with dark eyes, like a hunter eyeing his prey. The dragon finally rose from the pool. The black body twisted in the air with gleaming scales. The 5 men held their swords tightly. Chen Qian suddenly spurted out a mouthful of blood, holding his sword with one hand. You guys, hurry up, before it launches an attack, hurry up and take the last 2 dragon crystals back. And take that girl with you, don't hurt innocent people. We have killed many soldiers on the 900th floor, and we cannot allow innocent people to die in vain. A swing of the sword. A white light split the land in front of the 4 of them and turned into a ravine. Team leader. Stop talking nonsense, you have a more important task. You must take the dragon crystal back and give it to the 5th brother. It's worth it even if I die. Let's go. As soon as Chen Qian finished speaking, a black flame suddenly appeared. Chen Qian was caught off guard, and the sword in his hand was corroded and small holes appeared. It is fragile and can break into countless pieces with just one blow. Chen Yu rushed forward, swung his sword away to block the black flames, and tried his best to resist the flames with his sword. The other 3 people rushed forward. 3 swords stand side by side with Chen Yu. The heels of the 4 people almost dug into the ground because of their exertion. Just like this, due to their strong resistance, the bodies of the 4 people continued to retreat. We must die together. Captain, take the dragon crystal and go. We are here, go quickly, Captain. The 4 of us can't die, and you can't resist it alone. Go quickly, Captain. Chen Yu turned around and said, Brother. Let's go quickly. Chen Qian retracted his sword, spit out a mouthful of blood again, turned and ran, and disappeared without a trace in an instant like a jet plane. Chen Yu glanced at Zhang Xiaoxiao from the corner of his eyes. Smiling bitterly, blood began to ooze from the corners of his mouth, and the taste of blood filled his mouth. Girl, go quickly, are you really waiting to die? I have never seen anyone who wants to die so much. I have tried to persuade others several times but have been indifferent. It seems as if he has come here specifically to die. Zhang Xiaoxiao asked in a deep voice. Did you bring the black-horned dragon at the entrance? The sound of anger, there is infinite anger in it. How many people died? Not because of this, people don't need so many casualties at all. The dead are always sad. Yes. We did it, but we are also for the survival of mankind. Sometimes there is no choice but to make a choice. This may sacrifice the small self to achieve the greater self. Sister, even if you hate us, now we have to die in the dark in the hands of the Horned Dragon King. You should be able to leave. You will have your revenge, so you can't leave. Chen Yu felt a strong impact on her chest, and she wanted to vomit blood again. If he fainted, everyone would probably end up in the same fate. Just as she was exerting her strength, she saw the girl beside her walking out in a swaggering manner. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 803. Chapter 803 Master's Wife. Ascent. Sprinkle a handful of cumin and a handful of chili powder. Turn over. The air is filled with strange fragrance. Kaka. 3 black-horned dragons flew over. Squat directly in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao without attacking. Although he is not the Black-Horned Dragon King, he is still a Black-Horned Dragon. Especially 2 of them were adult Black-Horned Dragons that were no less than the Black-Horned Dragon King. They squatted in front of the girl so docilely, looking eagerly at the things in the girl's hands. The little black horned dragon flapped its wings happily and approached Zhang Xiaoxiao. He was slapped aside by his father's wings. Roll. Okay. The little black horned dragon moved away happily, looking like a joke. Zhang Xiaoxiao put the roasted rice-flavored pig on the ground and fanned it vigorously. The fragrance spreads thousands of miles. The black-horned dragon king who was fighting suddenly snorted a few times. His eyes could not help but pass by for a second. Black boy, why did you bring your son here? What are you doing over there? What smells so good? Huge dragon head, there seems to be transparent liquid dripping between the sharp teeth. Old hey, stop fighting, come and eat some meat. This meat is very delicious and can also upgrade our dragon crystal. Come on, don't blame me for not telling you if you missed it. The father of the black-horned dragon opened his mouth and bit into a rice-flavored pig. Close your eyes and savor the delicious taste. With the black-horned dragon king's wings, the four people were instantly blown away and fell into the pool. They would definitely not die. The wet drowned rat definitely didn't run away. The black-horned dragon king also fell in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao in an instant. Looking at the meat skewers in front of Zhang Xiaoxiao, he sniffed it suspiciously. Her face changed drastically. No. This human has eaten our dragon crystal. I will bite her to death. Zhang Xiaoxiao lifted up a freshly roasted rice-flavored pig and stuffed it directly into its mouth. Right? Chi Kuakyo ignores its ferocity. The black-horned dragon king's eyes suddenly softened, and his mouth began to click. Tasty. Fragrant. Why is it so delicious? One more. Zhang Xiaoxiao kept moving, but the rice-fragrant pig was not enough. There were only 10 of them left in my own space, and they were gone as soon as I saw them. It's not enough for them to fit between their teeth. Looking at the four wet people, they were looking at her and the four-headed dragon blankly. Hurry up and catch the rice-scented pig, or the one-eyed sheep. Chen Yu and the others dumbly caught 10 one-eyed sheep, but there was no Deoxiang pig nearby. Looking at the masked woman in front of him, she acted as fiercely as a tiger. Then the four docile black-horned dragons ate a fierce meal. Where is this? What is this for? Am I dazzled? 4 of us, you look at me and I look at you. What kind of magical human being is this, who can actually live in peace with the ferocious black-horned dragon king? What else are they fighting for? They can settle it with a barbecue. Now the battle between humans and monsters can be solved by a barbecue diplomacy. After they caught 200 one-eyed sheep, the 4 of them also had barbecue. The barbecue is charred on the outside, tender on the inside, and full of color and flavor. 4 people chewed faster. It's so delicious, no wonder even the black-horned dragon king likes it. I like it so much that I don't even care that it was roasted by humans. The 4 dragons were full of food and drink. The black-horned dragon king is a little soft now. Dragons like to sleep when they are full. I ate too much today. They are even more sleepy. But shouldn't it get angry and eat these humans? But my stomach is very full. I have never felt so full in these years. Or maybe next time. The black-horned dragon king placed the dragon's head on his front paws, snoring loudly. The 3 dragons looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao. Shall I see you off? Otherwise, if you meet Lao Hei's wife, you will probably be eaten. This is the first time that little black dragon's father is so friendly. The little black dragon held his tongue in disdain. Dad. You are telling lies. Can Aunt Hei eat her? Have you forgotten who her daughter is? If she dies, believe it or not, we will be buried with her. His father can fool people. The dragon slapped him and said, Get out. You can dismantle yourself. We'll take you back, come up. The horned dragon bent down, condescending and bending down its body. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the black-horned dragon, then at Chen Yu and the 4 of them. We're in this together. The horned dragon looked at the four people with a look of disgust on his face. Okay. Okay. It's bad luck for us, Xiao He, let them go up, I can't let them ride on my neck. The little black horned dragon looked at the four people curiously. He ran over happily and asked Zhang Xiao Xiao. Master's wife. Four people are horrified. Zhang Xiao Xiao is even more horrified. Master's wife? The little black dragon scratched his head. My master is not your daughter? Is it wrong for me to call you master's wife? My daughter is your master. Zhang Xiao Xiao is worried that his daughter will accept a disciple? Accept 3 dragons as apprentices? If everyone treats them as pets, why should their style of painting be wrong? Little black dragon nodded. Master said that we should be treated as younger brothers. Doesn't younger brother mean disciples? Zhang Xiao Xiao instantly understood that this was a confused dragon. A proper sleepy dragon. Master, are these 4 your disciples too? I saw that they all listened to you, just like I listened to my master. The little black dragon is really cute. Zhang Xiao Xiao was unable to complain. You bastard, hurry up. The little black dragon ran up to the 4 people and sniffed through its big nostrils. The 4 people were so frightened that they dared not move. Chen Quian came to the elevator, covered in blood. 4 of his brothers had died, and he was the only one left. After fighting all the way, it was not easy to get back. There were tears in the corners of my eyes. To pay homage to our dearest brothers. Then when he looked up, 3 black shadows fell from the sky. Chen Quian was dumbfounded. 3 black horned dragons. Dead. This is God's death for me. A black horned dragon can still give it a try. Sanjo. Even if one of them is not yet an adult, it is still a black horned dragon. The immature black horned dragon is even better protected. Anyone who dares to touch a young black horned dragon is a taboo. The guardian is very protective. Then 3 dragons fell down. 2 adult black horned dragons glanced at Chen Quian through their nostrils, wondering what the expression on this human being was. Have you never seen the noble black horned dragon clan? What a fool. Forget it, your task is completed. Zhang Xiao Xiao jumped down. Riding a dragon is really not as majestic as imagined, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Then 4 people also got off the little black dragon, and all of them had their hair blown askew. 3 dragons soared into the sky. Chen Quian looked at the 4 familiar people. You. Captain, it's us. Brother, it's me, Xiaowu. 5 people hugged each other and cried. Zhang Xiao Xiao looked at his watch, it was time to start. She wanted to go back and see Lu Fengming and the others. The casualties are so heavy, are you relying on that rookie student? That's dead. He turned his head and looked at the 5 of them. Should you guys talk to me? Zhang Xiao is so stingy. These are the people who do good things. Chen Quian turned his head suddenly. In many years, no one had dared to talk to him so arrogantly. What are you talking about? What qualifications do you have? In an instant, a black shadow fell down. A claw scratched Chen Quian's chest. Chen Quian was caught off guard and watched as his chest was opened. The little black dragon roared and flew away. Chen Quian fell to the ground instantly. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 804. Chapter 804, Thick-Skinned. Chen Quian is fine. The little black dragon obviously shows mercy. One paw is a lesson. Eviscerated, but not fatal. After a bottle of high-level healing fluid was poured down, Chen Quian still felt severe pain, but at least he could save his life. Zhang Xiao Xiao looked at the 5 people and said, you have caused heavy casualties to our 900th floor. How do we count now? In the elevator, 6 people faced each other. Chen Quian suffered a loss, and the other 4 people didn't even think about how to answer. The answer is not good. This boss won't go on a killing spree. When did such a powerful person appear on the 900th floor? We compensate for the damage. Chen Qian is responsible for one person's work. The idea came from him. They would do whatever it takes to get the dragon crystal. They should be responsible for the death of the person. The elevator door opens. Director Lu Fengming Xiao has been waiting at the elevator door for 2 days. The two of them looked so haggard that they had no love left in their lives. There just was a doctor. Now they are captured by the Black Horned Dragon King for them. That would definitely be a narrow escape. But everyone still hopes there is a glimmer of hope. The two men stayed here personally for 2 days without eating or drinking. It's not that they didn't eat or drink, it was that they didn't have anything to eat or drink. The Black Horned Dragon King is guarding the entrance. It's only wonder they can find resources. They have long been out of food. The elevator door opens. The moment Lu Fengming saw Zhang Xiaoxiao, as soon as his eyes rolled, he fainted. Director Xiao saw Zhang Xiaoxiao and came up with a big smile. He wanted a hug, but after thinking it was inappropriate, he patted Zhang Xiaoxiao on the shoulder. It's good to come back, it's good to come back. Wipe tears quietly. Zhang Xiaoxian softened into mud. Director, these 5 people recruited the Black Horned Dragon King to the entrance they promised to compensate, and I also saved 4 of their lives. They are people on the 500th floor, so they should be worth a lot of money. I'll leave these things to you. I'll go back and see the wounded first. Negotiation is not my specialty. Let's go back and be a doctor. Leaders naturally do what leaders do. Director Xiao and his team members react. 500 floors. Black Horned Dragon King? Hence, they come to us and don't take human life seriously. How many people died in more than a month? I am Xiao Weiren, the director of the 900th floor observation department. Chen Qian was embarrassed. Before doing this, I didn't think that I needed to give an explanation to the 900th floor. Who would have thought that I needed to give an explanation to the 900th floor? The problem is that things have come to this point now. They were rescued by people from the 900th floor. It turns out that they don't regard people on the 900th floor as human beings, and people on the 900th floor help them instead. It will be inappropriate if you are not particular about it. Chen Qian stretched out his hand. I am Chen Qian, the captain of the 500-level special combat team. When 2 people shake hands, it is better to say that they have a secret confrontation. Director Xiao is so angry that the 500th floor looks down on people, but don't harm others. Do not take human life as your life. 5,800 people died on the 900th floor this month, almost 5 years in total. Director Xiao felt heartbroken. Without new births, every human life is precious. Chen Qian's combat power increased instantly. They were unreasonable in this matter and were exposed by others. They had no way to correct themselves, but in terms of combat power, it was absolutely impossible for them to admit defeat. If you lose to the 500th floor to the 900th floor, where will you put your face? Director Xiao's expression suddenly changed. The combat power that Chen Qian in front of him instantly unleashed was at least S level or above. S level that has been strengthened at least 3 times. There was no way his B level combat power could withstand it. His face was twisted, and the joints in his hands felt like they were about to break. Captain Chen, please let me have a word with Director Xiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao appeared suddenly, and put a delicate hand on Chen Qian's hand. With a slight pressure on his fingers, Chen Qian felt as if his hand was broken, and he let go involuntarily. Director Xiao's hand was finally freed. This time, the expressions of both people changed. Director Xiao was delighted. Of course he knew that Zhang Xiaoxiao had an S and combat effectiveness. He had never regarded Zhang Xiaoxiao as a combat effectiveness. That was because Zhang Xiaoxiao's combat effectiveness was useless. Although the qualifications are very good, they are not tempered enough. Of course, they were trying to protect a rare doctor, so how could they possibly use Zhang Xiaoxiao as a fighting force? However, the combat effectiveness that Zhang Xiaoxiao has shown now is definitely impressive. Seeing it, the other person used a few fingers to pinch the other person's face, which made his expression change greatly. With Chen Quian's expression on his face, no one could tell what the pain was. There is no difference from the distorted expression on his face just now. And now he is a bit dark and red, and he was defeated by a woman. I guess he is ashamed at this moment. Chen Quian was really surprised. The woman who saved her team member actually has S-level combat power, and from the looks of it, she has been upgraded at least 5 times. In other words, the Zhang Xiaoxiao in front of him might be as good as his own captain. This is the 900th floor? You can't be dreaming. Zhang Xiaoxiao pulled Director Xiao and left. Director Xiao, I need to free up a warehouse and gather my students. I can't see them and I don't know where to find them. Now is the time when I need them to help me, so I can take the opportunity to learn. So many wounded people must be treated one by one. Zhang Xiaoxiao was not polite. He didn't see that the exchange hall was now full of injured people. Even the corridor was full of wounded people. Now wherever there is free space, all the wounded are there. The groans of pain and the miserable wails all foreshadowed the 900th floor. This place is now like hell. She is a doctor. Faced with this situation, doctors have long committed occupational diseases. Director Xiao nodded, Dr. Zhang, go to the clinic and leave the rest to me. Don't worry. With a wave of his hand, he said, if you go with Dr. Zhang, you two will coordinate if anything happens. No matter what it is, you must help Dr. Zhang get it done. Zhang Xiaoxiao took the people away. Chen Quian and 4 of his team members followed Zhang Xiaoxiao, curious. Right? There are only 10 people here who can be called doctors. There are not many people who dare to be called a doctor. The woman in front of me is so thick-skinned that she doesn't even have the slightest objection to being called Dr. Zhang. Their original intention was to see how Dr. Zhang could treat people. Everyone knows that there is no treatment center on the 900th floor, because the 900th floor does not have the ability to arrange a treatment center. Zhang Xiaoxiao went in, but they hadn't gone in yet. The main reason is that they can't get in at all now. The corridor is filled with various wounded people, and there's no place to step down. They really don't want to get in among these people. Then I saw magical scenes. It didn't take half an hour. People in the corridor were carried in one after another. One person entered with a broken leg. After a while, the moaning inside suddenly stopped. A man with severe facial burns was carried in. There was no movement after an hour, and the remaining people were carried in intermittently. The corridor that was like just now suddenly became very quiet. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 805. Chapter 805 Ancient Medicine. A group of people went in, wearing white clothes. Chen Quian pulled one of them. This child looked to be at least 13 or 14 years old. He was very short and looked very thin. Especially the white coat on her body made him look even more like a piece of paper. Thin. But looking at the expression on his face, he looked serious, as if he was rushing to the execution ground. Little brother, I just want to ask you what you do here. Is it a treatment center? Yeju glanced at Chen Quian and said, Uncle, this is not a treatment center, this is a clinic. What does the clinic do? I just saw a lot of wounded people being carried in, but now there is no sound. What Chen Quian actually wants to ask is that your clinic will not be the kind of cremation workshop he thought, where the wounded will be eliminated directly. Yeju smiled and said, as long as there is no sound, my teacher is back. My teacher is a doctor. Dr. Zhang is very good. All the wounded will be cured in a short time when she gets them. My senior brothers are all following the teacher there to treat them when the wounded are being treated. It's correct that there is no sound, which means their injuries have been almost healed. Yeju, please hurry up. Dr. Zhang asked us to suture. Today is a suture class. If you don't hurry up, you will miss it. Someone shouted from the front. Yeju agreed. Here, uncle, I can't talk to you. I have to go in quickly. The teacher is teaching everyone inside. If I don't go in quickly and learn how to be a doctor in the future. Chen Qian grabbed him and asked, can we go in and take a look? Yeju smiled and said, if you want to see it, go in and see it. I know that many people don't know what a clinic does and think that a clinic is the same as a treatment center. In fact, you all misunderstand it. Our clinic and treatment center are really different. Zhang the doctor used ancient medical techniques passed down from the ancient medical world, and used surgical sutures. Various drug treatments were not treatment at all. Many people don't know this and think it's a treatment warehouse. We, Dr. Zhang, don't use those expensive treatment warehouses. Each treatment only requires a few crystals, and only a small amount. Yeju happily waved goodbye to Chen Qian. By the way, he advertised their clinic. He knew that many people misunderstood that no one wanted to come to the clinic for treatment. They thought that the clinic was as expensive as the treatment warehouses in the treatment center. The devil's eye was not on their 900th floor. People can get it. But here, Dr. Zhang only accepts crystal stones, and each person only receives one crystal stone for one treatment. The most serious case only requires 3 crystals. Chen Qian and 5 others walked in. I saw a lot of busy people coming in and out. Many people on the outer floor are doing simple bandages. Those in white coats are applying gauze and unknown potions on them to those people, and then perform simple sutures and bandages. He sent the person out. Going further inside, you can see rooms one after another, with at least 5 to 6 people living in each room. Laying on every bed were the seriously injured patients who had been brought in just now. The broken leg is now covered with something white. Although I don't know what the white thing is, looking at the smile on the man's face, I can tell that at least he is relieved a lot now. Especially when I just saw a patient who had been disemboweled and was lying there in pain. At this moment, his whole body was wrapped in gauze and he was lying on the bed. Although he could not see clearly what his wounds looked like, this man was actually chatting and spanking with the patient in the next bed. Not dead. Chen Qian and Chen Yu were an eye-opener for the 5 of them. If they didn't understand what the ancient medicine the young man was talking about at first, they suddenly understood it now. This is a medical technique that has been around for a long time and is said to have been very popular in the world 5,000 years ago. At that time, these ancient medical techniques were very powerful. Human treatment does not need to rely on those illusory treatment chambers. Patients can be treated with simple surgeries. Even minor illnesses such as colds can be healed by taking medicine. It is not like now that no matter what kind of illness you have, you need to rely on treatment warehouses and so-called treatment potions. Drink the healing potion. It is like a person has died once. When he wakes up, he just feels better. However, after research by the upper-class people, the side effects of these treatment potions are very powerful and they are also very destructive to the body's functions. So for these fighting forces, even if they are sick and injured, they will definitely not use healing potions if they can. Of course, not everyone can afford to go to the healing warehouse. After all, there are 200 evil eyes in one visit. Who can afford to go? Now ancient medical skills. Go to the house in front. From this transparent glass, you can see that the front room is full of people in white coats. Zhang Xiaoxiao is also wearing white clothes and is giving guidance to everyone, but he doesn't know what he is talking about. Everyone is gathered around, I can't understand what exactly is going on in the middle. But it can be understood that these students are studying with Zhang Xiaoxiao. Chen Qian glanced at Chen Yu and the others. They actually have doctors with ancient medical skills. Chen Yu nodded and hissed. His arm was burned by the black-horned Dragon King's flames, and it hurts badly now. Chen Qian's eyes darkened. Knock on the door. Dr. Zhang, can you treat my sister? Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at the students. Do you all understand how to do it now? You must see clearly any blood vessels and don't touch them wrong, otherwise it will cause secondary damage to the patient. And the operation must be accurate and fast. Got it, teacher. Zhang Xiaoxiao just walked out. Look at Chen Yu, a girl who once extended a helping hand to herself, a stranger, and tried desperately to let herself go at that time, no matter how serious the consequences of the Black-Horned Dragon King incident were. But from the inside, this girl's character is worthy of admiration and trust. At that juncture, he did not give up on himself because he was just an ordinary person and had no fighting ability. Instead, he urged himself to leave quickly. Follow me, I'll check you out. Chen Yu said nonchalantly, it's okay. This little injury is not a serious injury. Once I go back and recuperate in a few months, everything will be fine. Then he fell to the ground with a plop. Chen Qian was startled and hurriedly picked up his sister. Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly checked, you guys, hurry up and take her to the operating room. She has serious internal injuries. She should have a ruptured heart and blood vessels. She needs to be operated on immediately. Everything goes very quickly because we have too many students. If you have 4,000 students, it is equivalent to 4,000 employees. Everything will be done very quickly under your hands. The sterile operating room that I requested has been built a long time ago. Originally, the operating room was built in advance. However, after the equipment was brought in later, everyone took action. The sterile operating room was completed in almost 3 hours. Completed. Of course, compared to the sterile operating rooms in that world, this place is really simple, but don't ask for too much, there's nothing you can do about it. In this place, this can be regarded as a high degree of cooperation with her from all the staff. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 806. Chapter 806 The Real Healer. No matter what treatment you are going to do to my sister, I want to be there for the whole process. Chen Qian has his own selfish motives. Of course I'm not worried about my sister, that's a lie. This operation is completely transparent. You can see every move we make in the operating room through the glass. So there is no need for you to go in. It will not do your sister any good after you go in. Zhang Xiaoxiao remained unmoved. It is a last resort to build the operating room like this. I can't help but have too many students, so I have to teach them step by step. Only a few students can fit into the operating room, and the rest can only observe outside the operating room. That's how Crash Course started. This is not a medical school, and there is no way to conduct theory for a period of time and then practice. You can only do it by combining theory and practice. Books on theoretical knowledge have been distributed to all students, and the money I got from the diamonds was quite useful. These books are very useful to them, and of course it is also a strict requirement that they must memorize all these books backwards and forwards. In practice, not to mention, after this war, there were too many casualties, with almost 50,000 injured. If she waits for treatment one by one, she will be exhausted and unable to cure it, so she almost always handles simple injuries, and all the students will do it on their own. Important injuries can only be seen by them after they have done it themselves, and then they can practice it a second time. Of course, this does not mean that they are irresponsible to others. Even if they are responsible, there is nothing they can do. If those patients are not treated, when it is her turn for surgery, I am afraid that he has already died and cannot die again. The only choice between life and death is to let these strangers take action. Of course, Zhang Xiaoxiao still acted as a backup, and couldn't really watch the patient die. If any eventuality arises, her peach asks for pills, which are life-saving things. Use extraordinary means in extraordinary times. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt that he had learned rigorous medical knowledge all his life, but now he was taught a complete mess. If my teacher and professor knew about it, I probably wouldn't even know how I died. Zhang Xiaoxiao feels that he has completely let himself go now. When a person faces tens of thousands of patients and only has the status of a doctor, there are probably not many who can be better than Zhang Xiaoxiao. It is now in its best condition. Of course, Zhang Xiaoxiao has a peach foundation. Otherwise, Zhang Xiaoxiao will have a psychological shadow, and his career will probably be completely over in the future. Chen Quian watched the surgery scene inside without vomiting. Absolutely not vomited. How can they kill monsters? His eyes widened, and the three people behind him had exactly the same expression. I have never seen any surgery in my life. Then Chen Yu was sent out, Zhang Xiaoxiao. Of course, the operation still needs to be continued. Zhang Xiaoxiao feels that he has returned to the busiest time of the hospital. What is the concept of one person performing 6 surgeries? The students around me are constantly changing. Yali is now the most experienced one, holding gauze to wipe Zhang Xiaoxiao's sweat. Take a break. This is the last operation today, and Zhang Xiaoxiao has been working continuously for 15 hours. Yali felt heartbroken just looking at it. They took advantage of the 900th floor. Zhang Xiaoxiao is doing the most sacred thing in the most economical way. Really saving people. Everyone miraculously survives here and gains hope of living. Yali feels sorry for Zhang Xiaoxiao. This sister seems to have become tall and majestic overnight, with a divine light. Make people admired. Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded, let me take a breath first and get me some water and food. I'm starving. Yali quickly winked at Yeju next to her. Yeju took off his white coat and ran out. Teacher, wait, I'll be right away, right away. It's okay to go slower. After Zhang Xiao finished reading, he sat down against the wall of the operating room and beat his legs with his hands. Her legs felt swollen after standing for a long time, and her whole legs were swollen, sore, and numb. Yuli washed her hands and changed clothes. Xiao Xiao, after dinner, you can go to the office next door to rest for a while. The building manager has specially set up a rest room for you in the office next door. You can't stay up all day long. I'll go back and bring you some changes of clothes. You can take a shower and have a good night's rest. Let's talk about it tomorrow and leave the rest to us. We will leave the severely ill patients until tomorrow and leave the other mild patients alone. No one answered for a long time. Turning around, Zhang Xiaoxiao leaned against the wall with his eyes closed and fell asleep with his head tilted. Slight snoring sounded in the operating room. Yuli burst into tears. Too tired. Not only Yuli's eyes were red, but also Lu Fengming's eyes were filled with tears as he stood at the door of the operating room. This is the first time I have seen such doctors. In their minds, those doctors are always aloof, popular, doing the simplest work, respected by thousands of people, and well protected by others. But where have I seen such a doctor tire himself to this extent? Even leaning against the corner and falling asleep like this, without eating or drinking water. What does it feel like to be alone for 15 hours without eating or drinking water? Performing intensive work for a long time. Zhang Xiaoxiao is using his own ability to save people. It does not use any external means to bring hope to everyone's life. Lu Fengming waved to Yali and the others to go out. They went out quietly, and Yali finally came to his senses. Lu Fengming didn't want to disturb Zhang Xiaoxiao. Bring over your coat, Lu Fengming also handed over his coat. A dozen coats were handed over together. Yali took some clothes and covered Zhang Xiaoxiao. Among the pile of clothes, Zhang Xiaoxiao, who was wearing a mask, was sleeping soundly. Lu Fengming looked at Chen Quian. He was indeed the captain next to the top 500 level combat force. He knew this person himself. Every year when the building leaders hold meetings to distribute supplies and do various work tasks, he can see this person, so he knows Chen Quian. Captain Chen, let's not say anything about our long-standing reputation. What happened this time was that you on the 500th floor were unkind. It caused at least tens of 100,000 casualties to our 900th floor. How are you going to deal with this situation now? Chen Quian gritted his teeth. If it were any other time, he would not feel guilty at all when facing the captain of the 900th floor. What they do is what they hope for all human beings to survive. Even if they use the bones of hundreds of thousands or even millions of people to pile up the captain's achievements, they dare to say this without any guilt. But after seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao, he suddenly understood that if the Black-Horned Dragon King really destroyed the 900th floor this time, if it was really because of them that the Black-Horned Dragon King ate Zhang Xiaoxiao, then the loss of the 900th floor is not just the 900th floor, but the loss of the entire human base. A healer with a great heritage is more powerful than the captain. We will pay for how many crystals, materials, weapons, and equipment you have. Please tell me a number. If I, Chen Quian, bargain, I will rip off my head and play it as a ball for you. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 807. Chapter 807 Training Room. Chen Quian and the others left after a week. As they left, a large amount of supplies arrived. Lu Fengming is so happy. When did they ever have such a scene on the 900th floor? Chen Quian returned to the 500th floor and met the captain with the dragon crystal. Fifth brother, there are only so many dragon crystals, it's not worth being caught first. When we arrive, the number of dragon crystals is very small. Chen Quian thought that the suspicious person might be Zhang Xiaoxiao, who was at the scene. But compared to Zhang Xiaoxiao and Long Jing, she is obviously more important. Chen Quian concealed this matter for the first time. Fifth brother Bai Zhigang looked at 2 pieces of dragon crystal. Old Chen, thank you, that's enough, I'm going to retreat and leave the rest to you. With dragon crystal, you can reach a higher level. He is expected to break into the 400 level secret realm. As long as you get the Phoenix Crystal, you will be the first S-end warrior to evolve 10 times and become a super warrior. At that time, he will become the first choice suicide squad on the 100th floor. This is the honor that Bai Zhigang will have in his lifetime, and he has always dreamed of it. Chen Quian wanted to say something, but seeing how excited the captain was, he still silently shut up and left. 900 Story Clinic. Zhang Xiaoxiao can finally breathe a sigh of relief. At present, treatment of all the wounded has been basically completed. The biggest gain is that her 4,000 students can now take over her place. During these 10 days of treatment, each of my students worked as 1 to 100, fighting on the medical front line. And they have achieved their medical knowledge through rapid practice. Now everyone can do simple sutures and even various trauma treatments. 400 students are now fully capable of completing complex surgeries in the operating room. This is really a feeling of escaping from the world. Now it is obvious that all the students share her treatment tasks, and she, the teacher, is immediately free. Zhang Xiaoxiazheng and Xiaju were discussing a trip to the Red Flame battlefield on the 900th floor. Who makes the meteorite fragments not found yet? There is no problem in going out, but Lu Fengming and the others now regard Zhang Xiaoxiao as their treasure and will not give her a chance to go out at all. High-risk jobs are excluded. Zhang Xiaoxiao would be relieved if he really came to work. The problem is not. Zhang Xiaoxiao wandered to Yali and the captain's room. The people closest to me are Lu Jian and Captain Lu. The red flame battlefield cannot be entered by a team of less than 10 people. It is said that it is a dungeon. The battlefield map cannot be opened if there are not enough people. Zhang Xiaoxiao thought that he would have to form a team if he really wanted to go. The people who were most able to be fooled by her were Lu Jian and Captain Lu. So, Zhang Xiaoxiao went to lobby. Lu Jian is training in the training room, and the whole team is training. They face various monsters. The important thing is that they have various killing formations when facing monsters. Proficient mastery of formations, agile reaction capabilities, and quick response capabilities all give them hope of surviving on the battlefield. Since the addition of Zhang Xiaoxiao on the 900th floor, things have become really exciting now. In the past, when everyone went out to look for supplies and resources, they were always afraid. Every time I go out, I secretly pray that I can come back alive. Every time you go out, treat it as your last mission. But it's different now. Everyone has a good idea. There is a miracle doctor sitting in the family. What are they afraid of? They are not afraid of death. Even if they are injured, they can come back alive. You will definitely be able to survive. There are a lot of crystals, and the leftovers can be used to cure diseases after being exchanged for food. How much reliance this has. Many people know in their hearts that what Dr. Zhang collected is enough for the crystal stone, which is to exchange it for food at the exchange center. It is estimated that 1 liter of rice costs 10 crystal stones. People really mean it when they receive a spar, they can't be ignorant. I don't understand what Dr. Zhang means. Everyone in the entire 900 level base knows that Dr. Zhang is Guanyin Bodhisattva, although they don't know what the specific concept of Guanyin Bodhisattva is. It is said to be an ancient in the sky who can bless mortals on earth. Dr. Zhang is a god. A god who is pure and kind. There is a doctor with such superb medical skills behind him to protect him. If the men don't make some attacks, they will be a bit sorry for Dr. Zhang. Although they are short of resources, and the external living environment on the entire 900th floor is very harsh. But a warrior who is unmotivated is not a good warrior. The dream of each of them was to destroy all the monsters outside. The world can start growing food again, harvesting fruits, and living a peaceful life where men farm and women weave. Now that Dr. Zhang exists, they suddenly find that all their dreams may come true. When Zhang Xiaoxiao arrived, each of them looked like they were fished out of the water. The training room is a training room made with high technology. The attack power of all the simulated monsters here, which is the training they get by spending gold and stones here, is similar to a simulated battle scene. All formation battles are almost identical to the external environment. Zhang Xiaoxiao took a look and found that each of the 7 people was a little downcast. What's wrong? It's not training? This training is so difficult. I see you all dejected. How about I give it a try? Zhang Xiaoxiao took out the spar and was eager to try it. She really wanted to test what her current fighting ability was like. Everyone has curiosity. Don't want. Lu Jianho shouted, but unfortunately Zhang Xiaoxiao had already put the crystal into the groove in the training room. With a flash of light, a dozen 9-headed monsters appeared around them. When Lu Jianhan came down, it was definitely impossible for anyone to die in the training room, but the attack was a real attack. It's enough to endure even if you don't die. Serious injuries in the training room are not uncommon. The training room is controlled by high technology. Unlike any human thinking, brain circuits do not exist. Killing to death. Lu Jian quickly collected his emotions and said, "Protect Dr. Zhang." The 6 men held weapons and smiled bitterly. "Dr. Zhang, the 6 of us have just returned from that training session, and our hands are still trembling with trembling. If you start the game so directly, I feel like it's a problem for us to protect you this time." Yali stood next to Zhang Xiaoxiao. "Haven't even said much." A ray of light and shadow struck. "Go straight to Yuli." Yuli raised the knife. She really wanted to lift the knife, but her whole arm felt sore and numb as if it was not hers. With a clang, the knife fell to the ground. That embarrassment about Yuri. Closing your eyes, wait for death. If you die, you will be eliminated immediately. Hope you won't be seriously injured. Then there was no response for a long time. Yali waited there for a long time, wondering if she fell asleep. There is no pain at all. Could it be that there was a bug in the training room today? Then he opened his eyes and saw a strange scene in front of him. A figure shuttled in the light and shadow, and the monsters that were coming towards the face seemed to be like easy-to-get side dishes. They could be chopped off one by one with a knife, and the knife was deadly. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 808. Chapter 808 Walking Sideways. The entire training room paused for 5 seconds. Congratulations on completing the entire training mission with 0 casualties. A group of people looked at each other. It takes less than a minute in total. A total of 3 waves of monsters were all killed. Then they didn't move a muscle. Without even changing his standing posture, Zhang Xiaoxiao ended the battle. Everyone looked at her blankly. The doctor's concept is that they understand it wrong. Or they know a fake Zhang Xiaoxiao. This. Then the 7 people fell to the ground, lying sprawled on the ground, and no one wanted to get up, especially the monkey lying on the ground whining. Dr. Zhang, do you know that this is, not very harmful, but extremely insulting? Monkey and the others didn't even see Jiang's small figure clearly, so the battle ended. What is this concept? My body has been strengthened 5 times, come on, I'll give you something good. 7 people didn't even raise their eyes. Nice one? Can there be any good things on the 900th floor? I heard that your team is training, why don't we 2 teams work together as a partner? Captain Lu came in with 17 of his men. Xiao and Xiaoliu uttered an ouch. He immediately hugged Zhang Xiao's little leg. Boss, you will be our boss from now on. Please give us one of the things you have in your hand. You can't favor one against the other. Although you and the monkeys are on the same team, no matter what, we have gone through hardships together, and we have eaten you. After eating your barbecue and eating your coconut rice, we all have a share of the good stuff. Captain, do you think so? Captain Lu came up to take a look and made an ouch. Dr. Zhang, everyone who sees you has a share, and everyone who sees you has a share. I reached out for a long time but didn't dare to take it. What to do if Dr. Zhang gets angry after taking it away? Dragon Crystal, this is Dragon Crystal. It is said that in their ranking list, Dragon Crystal is ranked 10th among Chikuakuo. As long as the warrior upgraded with Dragon Crystal, no matter in terms of speed, physical strength, or agility, all reaction abilities will be upgraded 3 levels in a row. Level 3. Only Dragon Crystal can do it. Other treasures will not work. Zhang Xiaoxiao handed it to him. Since we say that everyone who meets you has a share, then each person will receive a share. This thing is completely useless to me. Besides, there are a lot of them in my own space. These things, number 9, have already told her that they are completely ineffective in strengthening her body. In this case, it is better to just make it easier for everyone. Since she needs people to accompany her into the fiery battlefield, she cannot let these people die. The combat effectiveness of these people has improved. Of course, the effect will be better after entering the refining battlefield. Of course, they are protected by number 9 and their big devil daughter, but these people themselves may not have the ability to protect them, so the stronger their abilities, the better for them. The better for future survival. Besides, you have to go to the fiery battlefield on each floor once, so it's impossible to say that there is no benefit at all just letting people in. Even if you are a sparring partner, you have to pay some fees, so just treat this Dragon Crystal as the sparring fee. Hang Hao and Lu Jian hurriedly got up from the ground. When they saw Zhang Xiaoxiao holding something in his hand, their eyes widened. This is dragon glass. Yuli and the others stood up quickly. Dragon crystal? When I was brought back to the nest by the black-horned dragon king, I fell into the dragon pool there. So I found these dragon crystals and brought them back. My own body has been strengthened there, and the rest are naturally for you. Brought. You're welcome. Each person gets a piece, and it is said that they can upgrade to 3 levels in a row. The smiling look looks like Maitreya Buddha. It's true that he didn't hide his secrets. He gave everyone the dragon crystal in his own space. How about you try this dragon crystal first? I really don't know how many pieces a person can absorb. I just heard that a piece of dragon crystal can increase a warrior's physical fitness by 3 levels. In other words, if you are at level C, you can directly reach level A. I have a lot of dragon crystal here, but I don't know how much you can absorb. After saying this, everyone in the room collapsed. If the people above know about this, they will not be angry to death. Everyone who can get a piece of dragon crystal has to thank God for his luck. Dr. Zhang of my own family would rather treat dragon crystal as a casual gift. When I asked the cheap question, I don't know how much you can absorb, I suddenly felt that if they followed Dr. Zhang, they would have a bright future. No one was polite at this time, especially Captain Lu. They simply felt that they were extremely lucky. They had never seen it in the world. They just came to discuss it with their old comrades, and they were able to get a piece of dragon crystal. What kind of luck is this? 25 people absorbed the dragon crystal in an instant. If anyone entered this house, they would probably be scared to death. Have you ever seen such a shocking scene, 25 people absorbing dragon crystal at the same time? Or the one that can be taken and used at will? With a pile of dragon crystals piled up in front of him, Zhang Xiaoxiao was bored and turned on the battle mode alone. The fighting power of the 25 people next to him is exploding. It is reported that there is a malfunction in the training room on the 900th floor of the base. It has been in perfect condition for 3 consecutive hours. We have to send a maintenance team there, probably tomorrow. It will definitely be too late today, and no one can go out on the mission. Base Director Zhang Sun looked at the team leader on the screen. It's okay. It doesn't matter if it's a day or too late. The 900th floor isn't that important anyway. Just fix it for them by then. The team leader wiped his sweat. This was Chi Kuokyo's contempt. The 900th floor was born to the stepmother. Whoever reaches the 900th floor is at the bottom of the combat power rankings. It's no wonder that the base manager is not friendly. Even if the base manager is the biological mother, I am afraid that the son will also score a point. Those who are smart and talented will definitely get more love, while those who are stupid and incompetent will naturally stand aside. This is the law of nature. Even a biological mother has to use 5 fingers to determine the length. 5 hours later, the team leader no longer wanted to report because the same training room had maintained a perfect score for the past 5 hours. In other words, if someone was training inside, it would be easy to kill monsters now. Even if they reach the 100th floor, no one can do it. Training will be adjusted based on the combat strength entering the training room at that time. You choose the top difficulty every time. Is this something ordinary people can do? Even if you stand up with super strength, you probably can't do it. You have to train in mode for 5 consecutive hours in the training room. Also, all of them are full marks. Let's send someone to have a look tomorrow. There are not many resources in the training room, so don't waste them. By the time it was night, the team leader no longer wanted to look at the data. This training room is crazy. Hell mode was on all night. It was open all night. Captain Lu and Lu Jian, the 25 of them, were saturated after each of them absorbed 3 pieces of dragon crystal. The combat power improvement has directly reached the full level. What is the concept of full level? That is all S-class. S and that gifted, born genius. What is the concept of 25 S-levels? 25 of them can walk sideways in a 900-story battlefield. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 809. Chapter 809 Everything is broken. Zhang Xiaoxiao calculated that there were still a lot of dragon crystals in his space. Those dragon crystals thrown casually into the ground in space can actually grow back in the ground. And it seems that the quality is higher than the quality of the dragon crystals I fished out from the Longtan. In this case, it is not too much to build a group of their own warriors on the 900th floor. If they really have strong warriors, they can go directly into the outside world, clean up those monsters, and restore peace to the world. Then they will do a lot of work to improve the soil area of cultivation. Then human beings do not need to fight to survive. Zhang Xiaoxiao suddenly felt that that was the perfect world. The meaning of your life has been sublimated. Feeling high and mighty, don't you? Zhang Xiaoxiao has always believed that she has the potential to become a virgin, and now she realizes that she is indeed such a person. It seems that the society is giving less severe beatings. The severe beatings in my previous life did not turn me into a vengeful person who is determined to retaliate. It is really unfair. What was it like for 25 people to Dr. Zhang back to the dormitory with high spirits? Sorry, no one noticed. Zhang Xiaoxiao made a dinner. He didn't have time to cook recently, and he didn't see number 9 feeling sluggish. With a meal of braised pork and a large plate of cold cucumber and fungus, number 9 will be revived in an instant. Sister, sister, I'm hungry sister, I'm hungry. Etc. Zhang Xiaoxiao put down the bowls and chopsticks with a smile. Number 9's attributes were as good as those of his daughter Song Xian. Then even Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't get to eat. Dr. Zhang, are you there? My name is Lu Fengming. Zhang Xiaoxiao opened the door helplessly. Chief Lu, what are you doing? Outside the door, Lu Fengming, Director Xiao, and the 900-story high-rises crowded the corridor. Dr. Zhang, let's go in and talk, let's go in and talk. Lu Fengming pulled Zhang Xiaoxiao in. Dr. Zhang. Look at me at my age. I have been at the current stage for 15 years. I, a dignified building manager, have been in A&D for 15 years. I am so embarrassed. I have no face to see people. I might as well die. Forget it. Crying out loudly. Zhang Xiaoxiao gave Lu Fengming an honest smile and said, Director, I understand what you mean. Wait. The poor man is here. Director Xiao became anxious when he saw it. Dr. Zhang, I am miserable too, very miserable. My director's hair has turned white, and I am still a B grade, I am too embarrassed. Dr. Zhang, we are all in disgrace and we will not survive. Dr. Zhang, we also want to die, our life has been in vain. There was a huge buzz of people. Mr. Lu, I'll give these to you, or else could you please share them with everyone? There is a hill in front of you. The red color is so noble and opulent. Lu Fengming was dumbfounded. He knew that 25 of Lu Jian and Captain Lu had been upgraded to 3 levels in a row, and they were all upgraded to the top combat power. That is, 25 S-level warriors suddenly appeared on the 900th floor. What is the concept? It is the singing of 900 layers of turned serfs. But isn't it a shame that he, a dignified building manager, is still a level? So he hurriedly brought people here. They blocked Zhang Xiaoxiao and used their spirit of being thick-skinned and the city wall to beg for nothing. If Dr. Zhang was upset, he might just let go and expose a little of his fingers, and they would. Lu Fengming dreams of leading his team to show off at the annual building captain meeting. Face is nothing now. It doesn't matter if you don't want to. Then Dr. Zhang didn't stutter at all, didn't hesitate or make things difficult at all, it was just like a dream. A pie-in-the-sky dream. A pile of dragon crystals was piled in front of them. Lu Fengming felt that he could die from happiness. I am willing to die like this. With the dragon crystal, Lu Fengming and his men quickly evacuated. What are you still doing here? Go back and practice. We are warriors. If we don't train, we are not good warriors. All training rooms on the 900th floor are full. The team leader rushed into the base director's office with sweat. The base commander frowned. Why is the Xiao Li becoming more and more unruly? He didn't even knock on the door and just rushed in like this. But seeing the profuse sweat on his head was like coming out of the dog days of summer. Team leader Li, what happened in the training room again? Why are you looking like this? Remember to knock when you come in from now on. You always don't knock on the door. It's so unruly. What if I'm meeting a guest here? Base director Li Mengqiang has been having a headache recently. Everyone thought that the base owned by their survivors was indestructible, but who knew that the 100th floor was the fortress in the defense of the entire base? Why does the 200th floor have all the and talents? Because the 100th and 200th floors rely on these two floors to protect the entire base. All the high-level warriors are gathered here, but I don't know what's going on with these monsters recently. Like crazy, the number of monsters running out of the fiery battlefield is increasing. In the past, there was a pattern to follow. About 500 to 1000 high-level monsters appeared in a month. Although there were countless medium and low-level monsters, they were all within the controllable range of the warriors. The problem is that just a year ago, there were tens of thousands of high-level monsters here almost every month. This number was not something that the warriors could eliminate. They turned into high-level monsters all over the place. The casualty ratio among soldiers began to become higher. This is also the reason why treatment centers are now starting to pay sky-high prices for treatment. The common cold and a little trauma are the reasons why people are not allowed to go to the treatment center at all. The purpose of increasing the price is to free up the treatment warehouse in the treatment center for all warriors to use. Even though the treatment center is there in name, in fact all the treatment rooms in the treatment center have been moved to the 200th floor. Material supplies are simply not enough now, because the soldiers on the 100th and 200th floors have no time to search for supplies when they go out. You can't kill it just by killing monsters. Li Mengqiang couldn't wait to send people over from somewhere. However, S&D is not available everywhere. Now I don't care about such small things as the training room. Base commander, the training rooms on the 900th floor are broken down. Team leader Li wiped his sweat. Last night, he thought there was something wrong with one of the training rooms on the 900th floor. It was a bug and could be fixed with a little repair. But who knew that when he looked at the data in the database this morning, he almost fainted from fright. Okay. All the training rooms on the 900th floor are now almost full of S+ combat forces training there. How is this possible? The highest combat power level at level 900 is nothing more than a plus. And there is only one, the head of their building. Now the entire training room is full of S+ combat power. Where can I go to reason with them? If it's broken, just fix it. What's the use of telling me? Could it be that you asked me to repair their training room on the 900th floor? Basic Director, all the training rooms on the 900th floor are broken now, and the required core energy can only be obtained from the monsters returned from the 100th floor. Now we have not obtained energy stones from the 100th and 200th floors for more than a year. What should I give them to repair? This is the point. The base commander thought about it and had a severe headache. Then don't practice it for the time being. There would be no deaths if there was no training room on the 900th floor. Now people will die on the 100th and 200th floors. If you can't care about it, just ignore it. Team leader Lee wilts back after receiving the order. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 810. Chapter 810 Red Flame Battlefield. Zhang Xiaoxiao opened the first experimental field. Was developed in their exchange center and is said to be cultivated without soil. Zhang Xiaoxiao brought the latest soilless cultivation method from that world. She can cure diseases, but malnutrition lacks vitamins and carbohydrates, which are found in fresh foods, fruits, and vegetables, and cannot be cured by medicine. Zhang Xiaoxiao just wants to give it a try. Planting is either impossible or requires seeds. They don't have it, I have it myself. We are not short of money. You don't need to spend money to exchange it yourself. You just can't enjoy the treatment of a rich man by yourself. This money can achieve many goals. So the flowing students began to study soilless cultivation technology under Zhang Xiaoxiao's hands, and a large number of vegetables, fruits, and grains were produced within a few months. 900th floor. Now that is a good life. Change centers are overcrowded. Everyone is beaming with joy. In the past, there was a shortage of supplies, and everyone was hungry. Apart from relying on harvesting supplies from the battlefield, or relying on the monthly allocation from the top management, they basically had no other means of obtaining supplies. Now everyone can buy fresh vegetables, fruits, and grains. Just thinking about it makes me feel happy. Spar is now their only currency in circulation. Although these crystals are valuable in people's eyes, they are not outrageously expensive. Can be exchanged for living supplies. Now every warrior feels more motivated to fight. Isn't it true that people live just to have a better living environment, so that their families can have enough food and clothing? The new factory on the 900th floor began operation. Lu Fengming didn't expect that Zhang Xiaoxiao would have such courage. It was like a savior who fell from the sky and was tailor-made for them. Think about them in all aspects. Food processing factories, textile factories, and clothing factories not only create employment for people, but can also produce materials that they thought were impossible to produce before. Almost all the formula machines were configured by Dr. Zhang. Everyone was curious, and many speculated about Zhang Xiaoxiao's mysterious identity. Everyone thinks that Zhang Xiaoxiao may be relying on some very powerful force. Life becomes rich. Greater things are yet to come. Lu Fengming received a notification from the clinic and successfully discovered the first pregnant woman under the treatment of Zhang Xiaoxiao Clinic. Over the past few years, no new life has been born in their survivor base. It's not that they don't want it, it's that they don't have it. After the intervention of Zhang Xiaoxiao Clinic, it was discovered that the people here had deteriorated physical functions due to long-term mental stress and malnutrition, as well as damage caused by certain radiation. After drug intervention and treatment, the old tree really regained its second spring. After the first case, there will be countless second cases, countless cases. Unsurprisingly, the population here will grow in 1 year. This is what excites everyone on the 900th floor. Who doesn't want to be passed down by descendants while alive? It was impossible before, but now there is hope. There is hope in life. This feeling is more effective than any spiritual encouragement given to them. People are working hard. The construction of the 900-story building is changing with each passing day. The battlefield cleanup is becoming more proactive. Not for yourself, but for your own descendants, and for the next generation of descendants. Give them a clean and safe living environment. Lu Fengming never expected that with the addition of Zhang Xiaoxiao, the 900th floor would become unlike his 900th floor. The light of hope for mankind. This phenomenon was still reported to the base director by Lu Fengming. Hope that people can be sent to study, learn from their advanced experience, and redesign a new order. It's a pity that the base director didn't even read the report, didn't pay attention to it, and didn't care. Has no idea what kind of opportunities have passed by. Captain, I want to take someone to the Red Flame battlefield. In the past 2 days, the entire base on the 900th floor has been in a state of excitement. The training room is constantly filled with people coming in and out, and people are almost rushing to enter the training room. The faces of those who came out were all red, and no one knew what had happened to the major teams in the past few days. The police crystals in people's hands can actually be exchanged for dragon crystals. 500 crystals can be exchanged for 1 dragon crystal. Many warriors, including ordinary people, find ways to fight and obtain crystals. It is much easier to defeat monsters than black-horned dragons. Although ordinary people continue to live their lives, they just know that the base is becoming different day by day. People's mental outlook is simply changing with each passing day. Everyone is thinking about how to live a better life. Whoever wants to go to the 800th floor is out of their mind. Suddenly, the migrant population in the 800th floor was reduced by almost 100% in 3 months. The captains of the 800th floor were all surprised. Could it be that the people on the 900th floor had been having a hard time these past few months? People couldn't come up with the devil's eyes they could get their hands on, so naturally it was impossible to reach the 800th floor. This is their only means of attracting people. There is nothing I can do if I am in a hurry. Send someone to inquire, okay. The head of the 800th floor was surprised. The people on the 900th floor were not what he thought at all. Their lives were much better than theirs. Looking at the white rice and flour in this cloth bag, the 800-story building is full of thoughts. He must report to the base director that Lu Fengming on the 900th floor has selfish motives. It's a pity that I didn't see the base director at all. I am busy, so I don't have time to see him. The base commander once again missed the major event of changing the base. Lu Fengming smiled and nodded. Zhang Xiao's bitter words were stuck in his throat. It's not that the fiery battlefield is the most dangerous place. Generally speaking, the building manager has said that entering the fiery battlefield is absolutely not allowed without the permission of the building manager. Not everyone can access the dungeon of the blazing battlefield. It is at least on the 900th floor. This is a restricted area because there are no S-end warriors on the 900th floor, so entering the blazing battlefield is a dead end. Zhang Xiaoxiao naturally discussed this with Captain Lu and Captain Lu before coming. Captain Lu and Captain Lu, there are 25 of them now. After several days of practice and training, they are very sure that it should not be difficult to enter the flaming battlefield. At least they are not S+ now, but they are definitely S-class warriors. It would be a joke if 25 S-level warriors could not protect one Zhang Xiaoxiao and go around the blazing battlefield. You must know that all base manuals list the 900th floor, and all battlefield monsters, including the flame battlefield, are at the lowest level. If no S-class warrior can come back alive from the blazing battlefield, what can others do? But the building commander has issued a death order here, and no one is allowed to enter the blazing battlefield. It would definitely take a lot of words to convince the building manager. Zhang Xiaoxiao was ready with a lot of rhetoric and ran to the building manager to convince him to agree to his suggestion. Who would have thought that as soon as he opened his mouth, people would immediately nod in agreement? Where is all this? Director, do you agree? Lu Fengming nodded, of course I agree. I have approved 3 teams to enter the fiery battlefield at the same time. Of course, Dr. Zhang can be added, and I will personally lead the team to protect Dr. Zhang. That is of course foolproof. Zhang Xiaoxiao was stunned. 3 teams. No matter how you say it, this is a good thing. Anyway, if you can enter the blazing battlefield, you can at least see if you can find meteorite fragments number 10 in the blazing battlefield. Even if you can find a little bit, it will be good for you. She wanted to ask the building manager where the energy stones embedded in their testing room came from. Without even having time to ask the building manager, they rushed to notify the list. This was their first time entering the flame battlefield on the 900th floor. The meaning was absolutely different. Moreover, he, the building manager, personally led the team. These three teams were carefully selected. Of course, because of Zhang Xiaoxiu's relationship, the teams of Captain Lu and Captain Lu were directly merged into one team. 25 people personally entered the battlefield of flames as Zhang Xiaoxiu's escort, and the other three teams also joined their team. It doesn't matter. Captain Lu and Captain Lu naturally knew that they had taken a huge advantage. They must know that the fiery battlefield was not something they could enter at their level. Even though they are already S-level warriors now, I heard that the building manager and the others will become S-level warriors within a few days with the help of Dr. Jiang's Dragon Crystal. I didn't see that when all the combatants from the three opposing teams saw Dr. Jiang, they looked at him with admiration and saluted in unison. Compared with them, these fierce warriors are nothing to compare with. Zhang Xiaoxiao was also moved. What you can do is really limited. The reason why my combat power has improved so quickly and my body's strength has increased so much is just because of my good luck. In addition, there are all kinds of lucky blessings around me, such as space and my own boss's daughter. If it wasn't for these, how could she have what she has today? These warriors in front of us are the ones who have truly emerged from the mountains of swords and seas of blood. The combatants experienced the baptism of life and death, which is why Zhang Xiaoxiao was willing to use his dragon crystal to help these people for free. This time all of them entered a passage. This passage is completely different from the previous elevators. After entering the passage, all the lights go out. In the darkness, they can feel a violent dizziness, and then they open their eyes again and come to a strange place. The land as far as the eye can see here is red, and the huge rocks are as red as drops of blood. The temperature on the ground is so high that you can almost feel the burning heat. In this land, as far as the eye can see, there is almost no grass growing. Everyone knows that no plant can survive under such huge temperatures. But there are still monsters living in this land. You can imagine how strong these monsters are. It is not something ordinary people can do to endure such a temperature. No one expected that the battlefield environment of Qiyan would be harsh. Then he saw flames shooting out from the high mountains. That's a volcano. Everyone retreats. Lu Fengming felt a little regretful. He had no problem, but he had neglected the equipment of Dr. Zhang and his team. The physical fitness displayed by their S and can withstand various temperatures, severe cold and heat, but the bodies of S-level warriors are not as good. Dr. Zhang would be even worse. Lu Fengming discussed with Zhang Xiaoxiao in a low voice, Dr. Zhang, why don't you consider coming back next time? They don't have to gain anything this time, but they must ensure Dr. Jiang's safety. The red flame battlefield is different from ordinary battlefields. As long as you want to leave, the passage can be opened at any time. You can imagine the tragedy and cruelty of the red flame battlefield. Zhang Xiaoxiao shook his head, Chief Lu, don't worry about me, it's okay with me. You can do your tasks and we won't hold you back. Mr. Lu still urged everyone to quickly rescue Dr. Jiang's team once they find that the situation is unfavorable. Everyone cautiously started to go inside. No monsters were seen along the way. Right? Not a single one was seen. Lu Fengming was surprised, didn't they come to the red flame battlefield? I have heard at the annual meeting that the building leaders described the red flame battlefield as full of war beasts, with heavy casualties and huge harvests. It is said that one battlefield harvest can feed them for half a year on the entire 10th floor. What a concept that is! Not a single monster can be seen now. Number 9 jumped out a long time ago, sister, there is no tense aura here, but it's still very weak. Zhang Xiaoxiao is satisfied, his goal is number 10, and as long as number 10 is here, it will be fine. She walked quickly, Captain Lu and Lu Jian quickly followed, and Yuli protected her closely. The strategy has not changed. The group of people quickly walked towards the depths of the red flame battlefield. Suddenly a large dark cloud appeared. Dark clouds. Zhang Xiaoxiao reminded everyone, it was a large group of monsters, flying monsters. End of this chapter.